If y'all see Gene, I'm telling y'all, man, somebody better punch him in the face. Somebody better do something to him, man. He out here doing this, that, and we be like, all right.
This dude wanted me dead way before I came to YouTube.
Picture this. A man who spent years exposing hip-hop's darkest secrets is now running for his life. Gene Deal isn't your average whistleblower. Once a bodyguard in the shadows, he watched empires rise on blood and silence. Now, decades later, he's speaking out. But his truth comes with a price. It could get him killed. Roger Bonds, Diddy's former head of security, revealed that Sean Combs once ordered him to attack Gene Deal. Not scare him, not intimidate him, attack. The goal? To bury him for good, permanently, period.
For you. You wasn't doing no dirty shit. That's why my days was with you when you had your kids. Because you knew you couldn't do that dirty shit around.
Here's what makes this terrifying. Roger Bonds wasn't guessing or spreading rumors. He was revealing orders he'd personally received, orders he refused to carry out. When a former insider, someone who once protected a hip-hop mogul, speaks publicly like this, it's not gossip or clout chasing. This is a life or death warning. Gene Deal's reaction? Raw, emotional. The fear and tension hit him like nothing else.
I used my sickness as one of the reasons, like, yo, you know I can't be traveling with you, and you know I can't be doing this, that, and the other. The doctor said.
The fear in Gene Deal's voice wasn't for drama. It was real. Every shadow suddenly felt like a threat. A reminder that Diddy's orders from years ago might still be alive. This pattern of retaliation isn't new. Allegedly, Diddy has used violence to control narratives for decades. Now, federal investigators are listening. Former associates are talking, and the walls of silence are cracking. Gene isn't an outsider cashing in. He was inside the machine. Bodyguard at sold-out shows, VIP rooms, and hotel halls, witnessing secrets that could destroy empires. He saw the business, the manipulation, and the private monster behind the public mogul.
He didn't tell the NYPD officers. He didn't tell the Department of Correction officers. He didn't tell none of the parole officers or anybody he had working for him that was officers. He told street dudes who had did dirt in the street.
From 2003 to 2012, Roger Bonds was Diddy's head of security. For nearly 10 years, he handled situations most of us can't even imagine. Clubs, award shows, behind-the-scenes power plays, Roger was always there. He wasn't just muscle, he was in the inner circle, witnessing intimidation and the ruthless tactics that kept Diddy's empire intact. Eventually, Roger reached his limit and walked away. But leaving Diddy's world isn't like quitting a job. It means carrying secrets that could ruin careers, destroy reputations, and even cost lives. His warnings now aren't revenge. They're survival.
I'm at the bank. There was a couple of times we bumped into him in the street. We ain't had no real beef with him, but we would act like it when we was around Puff, because that's what...
The key difference between these two whistleblowers is how they speak. Roger Bonds is measured, careful, almost reflective. Gene Deal, on the other hand, is raw, fiery, and unfiltered. He releases years of pent-up truth with emotion that hits hard. That raw honesty made his interview viral, but it also put a target on his back. For someone like Diddy, who built an empire on control, Gene isn't just inconvenient. He's dangerous. Roger confirmed Gene's fears, revealing that in the late 2000s, Diddy allegedly ordered him and his crew to physically attack Gene and Mark Curry for speaking out. This wasn't corporate pushback. It was street-level retaliation.
And all of that, and was at puppy parties.
Don't play with me.
And you the same size as Uncle Phil. And you the same size as Professor Ogilvy. And you the same size as Lucien Griez, Clive Davis.
How you doing? Okay.
Roger's revelation gets even more chilling. He admitted he didn't fully carry out Diddy's orders, which means Diddy expected his security team to act as enforcers. This wasn't casual intimidation. It was calculated, a method straight out of organized crime, using threats and violence to maintain Amra, the code of silence that shields powerful and dangerous empires. The message was clear. Crossing the line wasn't just risky, it could be deadly.
There's quite a few tapes that might be out there, what they're hearing, and I don't want to...
Gene Deal has long suspected a dangerous pattern. He recalls the August 14th, 1999 high-speed chase, 5 guns aimed at his head. At the time, he wondered if Diddy was behind it. Now, with Roger Bond's confession, those fears seem painfully accurate. Gene realizes the shooters might have been set by the very person he once protected. The paranoia is justified. A recent courthouse incident, where a YouTuber provoked him until he struck back, may have been orchestrated to destabilize him. When a billionaire allegedly has goons watching every move, fear isn't paranoia, it's survival.
How you ain't got that for that disgrace. Yeah. You gotta come back to the 100 side of club.
This is mob-style intimidation dressed as music business. In the 1990s, Diddy allegedly refined these tactics, using fear and violence not just to control artists, but to silence anyone who saw too much. Now, federal investigators are finally listening. Gan Deal is dangerous to Diddy because he isn't just telling stories. He's giving testimony that could link decades of alleged violence into a racketeering case. Every word Gene shares is another piece of the federal puzzle. Meanwhile, March 25th, 2024 raids revealed shocking evidence. Rifles with defaced serial numbers, massive quantities of illicit substances, and thousands of hours of footage exposing systematic abuse.
Using other inmates' phones to try to get on the outside and contact people. What would you say to him right now, knowing he's in the hot seat big time? Stop! Stop!
These weren't just possessions of a music mogul. They were tools of an alleged criminal empire. Federal charges reflect that. Racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation under the Mann Act. RICO charges used to bring down organized crime families, carrying life sentences. Cassie Ventura's explosive testimony opened the door for investigators, detailing forced encounters, abuse, and psychological control. Over 100 lawsuits followed, with attorney Tony Busby representing victims, 25 of whom were minors. Investigators documented activity from 2004 to 2024. Gene Deal's testimony isn't YouTube drama. It could be the evidence that sends powerful people to prison. And Diddy, now in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, is still trying to control the story. In November 2024, federal prosecutors revealed that Diddy had been breaking prison rules, making unauthorized calls to potential witnesses in his upcoming trial. This wasn't casual conversation. Prosecutors said he relentlessly tried to manipulate testimony, using other inmates' phones and three-way calls to reach people not on his approved contact list. Every attempt showed a calculated effort to control the narrative and protect himself, even from behind bars.
He sent somebody through somebody else to try to get in contact with me, telling me enough is enough.
Gene Deal believes he was a target of Diddy's prison intimidation campaign. Sources say Diddy used intermediaries to contact former associates, offering money for silence and sending veiled threats to anyone speaking out. Federal investigators uncovered evidence proving witness tampering, including a notebook from Diddy's jail cell outlining strategies to control witnesses and the media. Prosecutors argued this posed serious risks, and Judge Arun Subramanian agreed, denying his $50 million bail. Gan says he's received messages urging him to reconsider going public. Gene Deal hasn't shared every detail to protect ongoing investigations, but he's made it clear the pressure to stay silent has only grown since Diddy's arrest. They think I'm gonna stop talking because he's locked up, Gene said in a recent interview. But locked up doesn't mean powerless. Even behind bars, the threat feels real and the stakes couldn't be higher.
Witnesses, remember when they released that first thing of Cassie and I said that Diddy was trying to contact people for character witnesses, people for who he had problems with before, whatever like that.
Federal investigators found that Diddy orchestrated social media campaigns from prison, even paying a witness to post statements contradicting allegations against him. His criminal enterprise allegedly continued from behind bars, with family members reportedly involved in witness intimidation. Recorded calls show Diddy instructing relatives to contact potential witnesses, turning even his children into tools for obstruction. For Gene Deal, this confirmed his worst fears. Diddy's reach goes beyond prison walls. On July 2nd, 2025, the Manhattan jury shocked the legal world. Sean Combs was acquitted of major charges like racketeering conspiracy and ST, convicted only on minor counts, carrying a maximum of 20 years. The courtroom erupted as Diddy dropped to his knees in prayer, thanking his family, while his legal team celebrated the verdict. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo called it a major win, but federal prosecutors were furious, calling it a catastrophic failure of justice. Within hours, sources revealed a second federal case was already in motion, targeting Diddy's entire alleged criminal enterprise. Gene Deal is expected to be the star witness, connecting 20 years of violence and intimidation into a RICO conspiracy. Diddy's prison intimidation reportedly intensified as every resource, family, associates, inmates, and street connections was allegedly mobilized to stop him before testifying. Meanwhile, Diddy's team is pushing to secure release ahead of his October 3rd, 2025 sentencing.
He was found not guilty of hearing, the most serious charge. He was also found not guilty on 2 counts of trafficking. But he was found guilty on 2 lesser charges.
He was found guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in. Each carries a maximum of 10 years.
Diddy's proposed $50 million bail package is audacious, backed by his Miami mansion with house arrest, travel limits to Florida and New York, surrender of his passport, and electronic monitoring. His attorneys argue his Mann Act conviction is nonviolent and claim his relationships with Cassie and Jane were consensual, not criminal. Prosecutors, led by Maureen Comey, insist the only exceptional things about him are his wealth, violence, and brazen behavior. Judge Submaranian cited admitted domestic violence as proof of ongoing danger. Sources revealed Diddy allegedly continues pressuring Gene Deal through intermediaries. Yet Gene remains unbowed, determined to protect his family and see justice served, even as Diddy's empire slowly crumbles.